Jason Day is back in form, and today we're going to take a look at his golf swing so that we can see the things that he's worked on that's allowed him to start striping it again and back playing healthy golf. As Jason takes the club away, I want you to shift your attention to his hips. You're going to notice that they're going to start to open up significantly more compared to what he normally has been. Now this is what him and Chris Como have worked on for a while now, and it has taken some time for him to get used to and be able to see it on the golf course. And the main reason why Jason was working on trying to get these hips from rotating a little bit more open is that he would get his chest into a similar position to where it is now, where it has rotated significantly around his body. But the only thing is that these hips wouldn't rotate the same amount around. And so what that was doing was, because his hips were rotated, they're obviously not rotated in that direction, but they weren't turned to the right as much as what they could have been, or as much as what the chest had been. Then you were going to place a big strain on the separation between the chest and the hips. And so by doing what Jason has done, it has allowed these hips to open up, and now there has been less separation between the chest and the hips, so the upper body to the lower body. Now what you also have to realize with this move that Jason is getting himself to do is that it's going to move his arm structure further behind him. So it's going to work this whole triangle in that direction there more. Previously, he would have had his arm structure a little bit more vertical, and so it would have been more in that direction there. And if you're asking yourself what that's going to do to the ball flight, well, if all else is being equal and nothing else has changed in the downswing, it's going to start the golf ball further to the right, and it's also going to have a more of a curve to the left. So it's going to shift the club path out to the right. Now that's something important to consider, because if you're just trying to open up these hips and rotate them more back behind you, then that's what's going to change to the club path and the ball flight. So let's say you're already someone that hits a big hook, and then you try to rotate these hips a little bit more around your body. Guess what's going to happen to the ball flight? It's going to be more of a hook, which is not what you want. So you need to make sure that your pattern of your ball flight is in check with what you're trying to work on your golf swing. And so as we bring Jason into the downswing, you're going to notice that this club shaft angle is in a very nice position here. The more the club angles this way, the more likely the club path will get to the right, and the more the club shaft angles this way, the more the club path will get to the left. But so now you're going to notice as he gets into impact and through to the release, is that his shoulder plane is not going to be as vertical as what it previously was. And so we're going to see less of this bending on his right side. Now the important thing to recognize about that is, this is probably something that Chris and Jason have worked on, is that this is offsetting his club path from getting too far in to out. So the club path working too far in that direction there, too far out to the right. Because obviously Jason was a very good player with his swing previously. And so it's not necessarily about changing the club path. It was more about changing the way his body moves in order to make his back a little bit more healthier and not putting as much strain on it as what he could. And so you have to find a way to offset what you were doing in order to help his back move better, so that he wasn't hitting big hooks. And in Jason's case, it's getting rid of some of this here. So previously we would have seen a little bit more of a crunch. And if we had him in this position here, we would see that the shoulder plane would have been a little bit more vertical. That was just to be able to make his shaft pitch where it was currently to be functional for his ball flight. Obviously they are the elite level players, and so they know what they're doing with their golf swing, and they know what they're doing with their ball flight. So you can't just pick out one thing and think that it won't make a difference to the ball flight. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about what we've looked at in Jason's swing.